Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Master Manifestors channel. I am Olivia Grace, and this is Gabby. She's going to be my guest for the day. You can say, hey, Gabby.
Hi, everyone.
So, Gabby is actually an artist, and she has something she's going to share with us today. But we're also going to be talking about just following your dreams and the push that you need to follow your dreams. Hi, Summer. Hi, Tamana. Um, so, yeah, that's what we're going to be speaking about today. I'm really excited to have Gabby on. She's such an amazing manifester, an amazing woman with an amazing heart. So, I'm so excited to share her with you all. But Gabby, you can start and tell them a little bit about what it is that you do and who you are and everything like that.
Wow. Well, thank you for that intro. That was definitely a boost. Well, my name is Gabriella. You can call me Gabby. If you hear my cat in the background, I apologize. But I am an artist development coach. So that's what my calling is. I've been working in the art industry for over 10 years. I actually went to school for psychology. And while I was taking my courses, I took up a work study, job, trying to make some money on the side. And it was actually at my university's art gallery. And from there, I haven't stopped working in the art industry. And I've done quite a few different things in our industry, whether it's working at a gallery, doing tours at museums, um, curating. I did photography, like everything that you could think of in the art industry, including performing arts, I've experienced in my lifetime. And I've also helped artists sell their pieces as well. But one thing that I realized that was like a thread between all the jobs that I took up was that I loved artists and I love people. I think that's why I studied psychology at first, because like I just love getting to know people and how their minds work. And with art, everything is just so subjective. So um, you can just learn a lot about people by looking at the pieces that they create. So that's what I do. That's what I've done. But yeah.
That is awesome. So I love that, by the way. And I just love that part of you say an art development coach. I love that. That's incredible because so many artists have incredible paintings and art that they do, but not really receiving like the value for that.
Yeah,
And really with art, it's so interesting. Like you said, it's like subjective. Like one person can look at this and say it's worth $5. Another person can say it's worth 5,000, you know?
exactly.
And with what we know about manifestation, really the person who makes that decision first and foremost is the artist, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Um, and we spoke about this. I know we'll get into the class, but we spoke about this in the class, and making that deciding factor of this is what I want to sell my piece for, and this is what it's worth. Um, I personally think that you can create when people create art, it's priceless. But I know that in this world, money, is a factor, and and my desire to assist artists in developing like who they are. You already are who you are. You are an artist, but I meet so many artists who like I feel like they doubt first of all that they are an artist, like they feel uncomfortable calling themselves artists. I have felt that way too. I'm like, well, I don't do that type of art. Or I always had like an excuse on why I didn't want to call myself an artist, because I saw artists as like so far up in comparison to what I did. And I meet artists who are amazing and they still get kind of nervous about calling themselves artists or even presenting their art, and especially pricing their art. um, I've met amazing artists that like I'll talk to them and they're amazing people, and I'm looking at their pieces and I'm like, wow, like in my mind I'm like, oh, they must be selling so much art. And then they'll come to me and they'll be like, do you think this is too much to sell this for? And I'm just like, are you kidding me? You can sell it for way more. But yeah, I'm rambling, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're here to hear you speak. So, you brought up something that I was just going to ask you, which is doubt, right? And I feel like doubt is the killer of all dreams.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it's funny because when we have a big dream, we have all of these oppositions as to why it can't happen, won't happen, it's impossible for us. And none of those things are really the obstacle. The obstacle is just the doubt itself. Like I said the
Mhm.
other day, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. It's only ourself and us. Like someone the other day was saying, like, you're believing, you're always having faith in something. So when you're doubting, you're just having faith in a bad outcome for yourself. So you're still having faith, you still trust, you're just trusting against yourself. So
Yeah.
how do you overcome doubt, and how do you assist others in overcoming their doubt when it comes to achieving their dreams?
Well, a huge example is me even being on this live with you. So, um, going into the class, I know, when you asked me about what I do and who I am, I said I'm an artist development coach. That artist development coach developed, I'm just being honest, this is the truth. Artist development coach developed while I was in this manifestation class with you. I did not have that title or that identity before. I literally created that while in the class. And the thing is that I've been wanting to do that forever. And I have been doing that. I just thought that I was communicating with artists and helping them. But the doubt of like my ability to help artists become who they are is what kept me from calling myself that and claiming that. So even when we spoke about being on the live, I was like, oh, I was so excited. But my immediate thought was like, and we could talk about this more later, but like it was imposter syndrome because I felt like, well, maybe I'm not who I think I am. Maybe I'm not. And literally, I've been in this industry for over 10 years, and I was just like, well, maybe I don't know enough, or all these doubts started popping up in my head, and I'm like, well, how can I speak about what I do? Will people understand it, or will they even believe it? Like, all these doubts popped up in my mind, and again, over a decade of experience, and still, and I realized that this. I was like, well, why am I experiencing this? And I realized because I want to help the artists who are experiencing these same feelings when they get opportunities. When someone says, "Hey, like I really enjoy your work. Could you do a commission for me?" And suddenly it's like, "Well, can I? Can I do a commission for you?" Or you complete the commission, or you complete the at least the agreement for the commission, and they're asking you for a price, and you're so happy to get the opportunity that you're afraid to tell them, the price that you really want to, price it at, even the price that it's valued as. Um, so I would say that for me, it's just doing the thing. Do the thing. That's how you overcome the doubt. Um, because I don't want to sit here and lie to anyone and say, like, oh, the doubt will go away. You'll never have another doubt again. Like once you get to this certain point, or you do this, magical thing, and then the doubt will just disappear. If that was the case, the doubt would have. I've had so many opportunities over the stint of time that I've had in the art industry, that I've had accomplishments where the doubt should have just disappeared then. Oh wow, I just had this magical moment. Oh, I did a great show with this artist. Oh wow, like we got a great review or whatever. And if that was the case, the doubt would have disappeared then. So I would say doing the thing. And what's also helped me is cultivating from those feelings. And I know that sounds weird, but like one thing that I want to work with artists on is those feelings that we may assign as negative feelings or doubt or imposter syndrome. You can create art from that actually helps other people. That is exactly what I did when creating, honestly, creating and being called to my passion of helping people. I use those feelings to say, okay, well, how do I get through this? Now, how can I use this, create art that inspires artists to also use their art to get through it? I'm not sure if that makes sense, but like transforming it, transforming those feelings by creation and by just doing it. So no matter how you feel in the moment, if you say, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to accomplish, this is what I want to price this work as, this is what I want my contract to say, I want to work with this company, regardless of how you feel, just do it anyway.
Yeah, I love that. And that honestly is it. Like I say this a lot too, where people like assume about me, like, wow, you just must never doubt anything. You must just know everything's just going to work out perfectly. And it's like, no, not all the time. But I've learned that doubt doesn't have to be a hindrance unless you allow it to be, right? Like it's
Right.
not about, like Gabby said, it's not about the doubt going away. It's about you doing it in spite of the doubt, with
Yeah.
the doubt. And the doubt actually feeds on your inaction. The doubt
Yeah.
is like, look who you're showing up as. You're showing up as the person who doesn't do it. You're showing up as the person
Yeah.
who can't do it. And it's literally feeding into the identity that's saying, I can't do it. And you're proving yourself right the more that you put it off, right? But when you just say,
Yeah.
you know what, I feel like this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, you give yourself the opportunity to experience beyond it. So I absolutely love that. So what do you feel like is, and I before I even ask that, I just want to say that I feel like we're all artists in our way, right?
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
all taking this formless energy and forming it into our reality. We're the artists of our lives.
Yes.
So I feel like everything that you're saying applies to everyone as creators, not just people who are artists in life, but everyone here that is a creator, right? So what do you feel like is, from your experience with working with artists and within yourself, what do you feel like is the biggest thing that stops people from getting paid what they should get paid for their art, or for even putting their art out there for sale, or for really valuing themselves? Like what do you feel like is like a big hindrance, and how do you help people and help yourself through that?
Um, what I'm learning, and I'm not going to say that it's true for every artist is, their own person, but there's like this split between, there's a split, but also a mirroring between the art that artists create and also how they view themselves.
Mhm.
Um, so I think the split first comes like this. Okay, maybe I don't want to call myself an artist, or I do call myself an artist and I create this thing, but then I say that's not art. Well, if you're an artist, then what are you creating? Right? So that's the split. But it's also a mirroring, right? Because like, and it's also like I learned in your class too, but before I even took your class, just watching your YouTube about how our world is a reflection of us, right? So this is the mirroring. So if you were seeing yourself as not valuable, right? And then you, in my opinion, creating art is creating a world. You create from the world within, but you also create a world that you kind of don't really have control over, meaning that people will look at your art and then they'll create their own worlds, right? So if your own world within is a world in which you don't value yourself, you then take that world and say, okay, I'm going to sit, like, let's say, like Saturn, I'm going to sit on this ring and I'm going to create another little world. Pluto, we'll create Pluto, whatever. Pluto will be a reflection of Saturn. Just as you speak about, on your channel that um, we are God embodied, right? We are from God, and God is, that light is within us. So everything, we have the same capabilities. You know what I mean? So the art is the same. If you're creating from this place of having no value, or this place where your worth can be negotiated until it's at zero, your art is going to reflect that. And the way that you are afraid to speak up for your art and say, no, it's worth this, and either you pay it or you don't. Um, the way that you're afraid to, again, speak up for your art when someone asks you, hey, can you help me with this creative project? But either they don't want to pay you at all, which happens to artists a lot, or they offer you a disrespectful number. You just going along with that is the same way that maybe you would go along with, um, let's say, a relationship where you are being mistreated or you're not being treated the way that you should be treated. It's reflected in your art. So again, it's that split where it's like, I'm an artist, but I'm not creating art. This is not art. It's not worth anything. Or it's, well, I would say, um, I am not valuable. So therefore that less than valuable or unworthiness is going to be reflected in the worlds that I create, aka the art pieces that I create.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very poetic. I love it. Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. Um, our world is ourselves in form. I like to think of the world as a stage, right? I think Neville refers to it as a stage.
Yeah,
We are witnessing the play of our life, and but we are in all the characters. We are the directing it, we're producing
yeah,
it, we're choosing the what do you call it, the scene, or whatever. We're choosing everything and interacting with it, but it all starts with how we view ourselves. We like
yeah.
I feel like art is such a great example because there's someone who spends like 40 hours on an incredible, magnificent painting, and they're like, I don't know if it's good enough. And then there's
Mhm.
someone who takes a paintbrush and splats it, and they're like, yep, $10,000. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's that. And what's crazier is that people see what you see. They see what you
Mhm.
decided. So even the
Yeah,
person that put 40 hours in this incredible work of art that is incredible, if they see like, oh, it's okay, then that's what people will say. They're like, oh, wow, you want 300 for this? I don't know. I mean, 40 hours, it's worth way more than $300, but
yeah.
it's all in your mind. So you are currently in my money mastery class, so I'm going to give you some permission to give some spoilers.
Okay.
um, and just share like what were three of your biggest takeaways so far. We still have another class left, but just so far, what was your three biggest takeaways?
I'll say the first one was, which I it was like the unexpected one, was something that was pretty emotional and just deeper than I was expecting when I took the class. I'm like, oh, this is about money, you know what I mean? Like, and then I went in there and you posed the question, and am I allowed to say it was? Am I allowed to share the
Yeah,
question?
yeah,
Um, I believe it was we were speaking about like our relationships with money and everything, but she also brought up family and like how that influences our relationship with money. And I like really thought first I thought I had like an answer to it because it was kind of like um I guess surface level. And then I thought about it deeper and I was like, oh my God. Like I was like, oh my God. I started seeing things that I hadn't seen before. And I'll share something that I saw within myself. So I was raised by my grandparents. And sorry, my phone is sliding down. I was raised by my grandparents. And I remember as a little girl, my mother would always say like, "Oh, I'm gonna come get you," or "We're gonna live together one day." And but I remember her like saying that she needed money in order for us to like be together. And I'm being a little girl, I'm like, huh? Like I don't really understand that, but or I need money for a house and then we can live together. Um and she even told me about an instance when like I was little and she had offered like a homeless woman money and I got upset with her and I'm like, no, like I'm your daughter. You're supposed to be giving that to me. And I was like really upset about that. And my grandparents even told me that one time they were paying bills and I like grabbed the money off the table and ran upstairs and I said, oh no, this is for my mom, this is for me and my mom. And I was having those memories in your class and I'm like, wow, like I connected having enough money with being able to like be with my mother, being able to like have a relationship with her, being able to have a home with her, being able to just be normal. And it was always like that separation. And I never ended up in living with my mother. So I feel like that kind of ignited this chase in me of like connecting worthiness of all those things with money. So yeah, that was the first thing, and it was really unexpected. um, the other takeaway, and we talked about this recently, was like how much self concept literally is the root of everything. Like everything that you create, everything that you desire, and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do, and I'm doing my homework and all that, and I'm just like, okay, I'm like, I'm into it, right? And then we have our self concept class, and I kind of had to like pull myself back because I was like, I need to work on that because that if I don't work on that, it's going to be the same thing as, me chasing this idea of, relationship and family and home and it's connected to money and it's always just out of my reach. Unless I like really pull back and work on the worthiness thing that like if I have this money or if I don't have this money, I'm still worthy. I'm still worthy of it. Um, Yeah, so that was a huge takeaway, and then the third one, we also talked about this in, our last class was and maybe it was just me and you talking about it, but this, like, hyper fixation on a 3D, right? And it's just like, well, things aren't looking the way that I want and need them to look, so therefore, I'm going to bend to that, and it will take you on an emotional roller coaster if you allow it to. Um And I remember you were like, what did you say? You're like, "Oh, we don't admit those things, like, we don't admit those things that, when it comes to reality or, we don't speak those things out loud." Um, so I really just realized, like, what am I speaking out loud to myself? And I've caught myself saying things in my head, even if I'm not speaking them out loud, or sometimes even if I go to journal, I'm like, why did I just write that?" So those are my 3 biggest takeaways.
That's so beautiful, Gabby. Wow. That realization about, connect with the connection between your mom and, growing up, it's huge, and I feel like a lot of you know, I feel like a lot in the law of assumption community, sometimes it's coming from empowerment, but a lot of times, we don't want to look at where did this pattern start? What
Yeah,
led us there, and for me it's not about where did the pattern start and let's do an inner child journey about it and all of these things, right? It's not really about that. It's so that you can recognize it in the pattern,
yeah,
because what it appears like is just like you said, well, I'm in this kind of circle, or this pattern of just, I need the money for my worth, and I can't have the money without my worth, and I can't have the worth without my money, and all of this, and not realizing, oh, when you have that aha, like, wow, that started from back here. It
yeah,
almost releases it, even just in that moment, because
yeah,
of the awareness of it. You can point it out and say, oh, I see you for what you are. You're
yes,
not fundamentally true. It's not impossible. This is just the story that I've been telling literally since I've been a little girl, you
yes,
know? So that's extremely powerful. Thank you for sharing that. It's so beautiful because, when it comes to money, we have a relationship with it, and honestly with our dreams, because a lot of the time our dreams connect with money.
Yeah.
And but if we have a horrible idea about money, then we can't be a successful entrepreneur. A successful entrepreneurs have a lot of money,
Yeah.
so it's really amazing. And thank you for sharing that so openly. And I'm just intending that lit something up for those of you that are watching. um Let me ask you this. What made you finally take action on your dreams? Like, finally say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do, whether it was before the class or it was the moment that you decided, like, I'm an art development coach. Like, what led you to making that decision and no longer accepting the old story?
Um, I would definitely say that the class acted as a catalyst, but I think it started before then because I made the decision to even take the class.
Mhm.
I already knew some people may be out there, I believe they are. It's that moment of like enough is enough. Like you you get so fed up with yourself, honestly, and the world that you've been creating over and over and over again. And maybe you're using different colors, but you still end up in that same world, right? Let me use a different brush this time. Okay. But like if you're like using a faulty canvas, no matter what, I don't care what you splash on there. You're like, how am I back here? It's like Groundhog Day, right? Um, so I think it was an accumulation. I don't know if I can like pinpoint the exact moment where it happened. Well, okay, let me be honest. Yeah, I just it just came into my head. Um, I'm gonna put it out there, right? Working for working for someone else in our industry, well, another a company, and really giving it my all. I mean, like my all. Taking on, opportunities, taking on projects, um, offering my services. I mean, like just giving it everything and being led to believe that this was going to turn out to be the world that I was trying to create, right? So again, I'm splashing, splashing, I'm painting, everything. And go to the annual review and it's like, oh, what opportunity were you talking about? Even though we had been speaking about that opportunity for months, it's like, oh, sorry, nah, that's not happening. But keep doing what you're doing. Keep painting, please. Yes, we love it. We love the colors, but we're not going to pay you for it. So I think that was the moment where it really broke me because I had put so much effort, right, into trying to create this career, this abundance for myself, doing all that, and then putting it in the hands of someone else, a company or a manager or a budget for this year, um, and seeing how literally just dissipated all that I had done. I wish it didn't really matter. And I think that kind of set the course. And I didn't really know how or what or where to go. And then, that's when I got into Neville, and that's when I found you. And I'm like, wow, like I can do all that stuff that I did, but like for myself and for my own future and or my own present, right? Um, and then I saw you advertise the course and I emailed you about it. And when you emailed me back, I was like, I don't know, like, can I really do this right now? And then something told me was like, this is an investment. It's going to change your life. And to anybody out there, like, this is from my heart. Olivia has not asked me to say any of this, but I knew I was like, this is an investment. I knew it was going to change my life. Um, and when we got in there, I hope it's okay for me to share, but this moment that we had where I was like struggling with, like I told you before, about this back and forth. I am this person, but also, am I this still this person? Um, and I was playing it small. I was saying, okay, well, what if I start doing all the things that I did before, which was create all these, beautiful works? And I'm speaking like metaphorically, these beautiful works by taking all these projects but for another company. Maybe my manifestation, my abundance will be with another company, not this company, but this company will give me what I want. And you were like, you challenged me to exist in the end. And I had to truly ask myself, is that what I want to do again? Or do I really want to go for embodying who I've always been without the help of a company or a gallery or whatever, but just like embodying that. And that was the catalyst for me, like, okay. And as soon as I made that decision, when I tell you the ideas started just like flooding I couldn't sleep. Like I'm literally just on my laptop, all these things that have always been in me that I'm like, well, maybe if I propose this to the right company, then they'll take me on. And I'm like, girl, you are the company. You are the right company. So
Period.
yeah, I hope that answered your question.
It does so beautifully. Wow. I just love that, Gabby. Someone here said, it's like you realize you're good enough when someone else takes you and your work for granted. That is so real
Yeah, yeah,
because a lot of, like, just speaking to those who are here who are in a situation that is frustrating them, or even if you're not in a situation that's frustrating you, you're just bored. You're like, I'm done with this chapter of my life,
yeah,
or you're working for someone else and you want to work for yourself. Like, take the leap. This
yeah.
is your sign. This live right here is your sign to
For
take the
sure.
leap, you guys, to invest in yourself. You can
Yeah,
either build your dream or you can help somebody else build their dream.
yeah.
It's either that. And here's the thing, because you didn't give me all those details when we talked about it. You just said, should I get another job? Or should I do what I really want to do? You already know what I'm gonna say, right?
Yeah,
But but I want everyone here though to think about, what do you really want though? And not from the middle, not what seems possible, not what seems available, but go to your end. The acceptance of the end wills the means. The moment that Gabby accepted, yeah, I want to work for myself, I want to do all this for myself, the ideas, the how, all of the stuff that she needed came. It's still
yeah,
coming. It's still happening,
yeah.
right? Even this, us doing this live, this wasn't Gabby's idea, it was my idea. I was just like, hey, you can come on here and talk if you want to. When you, I tell a lot of my clients this, hey, get you something together and I'll come on live with you and let me know when you're ready. And usually the conversation ends there. Gabby was like a day or two later. She was like, I got this, I'm ready. I said, okay, well, let's go. Let's go, And so it's incredible. And yeah, for me, you guys, right before everything, you guys that know I was doing Uber Eats. And Uber Eats is, it's kind of maybe money. You're hoping for a certain amount, and I was like, I need a job. No more of this hoping for this coaching to take off, no more of this Uber Eats. I need a job. And I was almost about to be hired at like a nice steakhouse. Probably would have been making decent money, right? And that's actually the trap in decent money. Like when I was a
Mm,
server, I would always be like, oh, why can't I make 500 a night? If I can make 500 a night, I would be fine. If I made 500 a night, you guys, I would never come and do coaching. It wouldn't be worth it for me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't like it, but hey, I'm walking home with 500 every night. I don't care that much. You know what I mean? But being in the struggle, a lot of times propels you to make a new decision, to become the new person and stop dreaming about her, but and becoming her. Stop dreaming about him and become him. And I went on an interview for this steakhouse and they were like, you're amazing, we're going to hire you, we just want to have you come in and meet like the GM and all this stuff, but you're basically hired. I was like, great, perfect, wonderful. Weeks went by, they didn't call me. Everybody in my life was like, go up there, print your resume out, go over here, go do this. And I thought about it and I said, I can literally go here, work here, and all I'm going to end up doing is manifesting myself out of here.
Mhm.
So why don't I just skip the part where I go here and work here and just continue to dedicate myself to my vision,
Yeah.
you know? And it was life changing for me, y'all. It was life changing because when you accept a reality, reality is showing you, reality is forming into what you've accepted, right? It's forming into what you've accepted. So when you're accepting, I can't do it, it's not working for me, then that's exactly what reality is showing you. The moment that you decide, you count yourself in and you say, you know what? All these other people can do it. I can do it. It's possible. It's available. I don't know how. Yeah, that's the thing, you guys. A lot of people are wondering how from the state of not having it. The state of not having it doesn't have any how for you. It has more questions. It has more things for you to figure out, more reasons why it can happen, right? But the state of having it, it's done now, right? I think I told this to you, Gabby. It could have been someone else during class, but um there was a person that was working with Neville, and he said, Neville, I want to make a best-selling book, but I have no idea what to write about. I don't even have an idea what to write about, you know? And Neville was like, "Well, go to the end of your book is sold out. See your book being sold in all these different bookstores." And like to me, that was like mind blowing because I'm like, dude, he doesn't even have an idea. You would think like the end is, finding a great idea or even completing the book. No, go to the end because once you find the idea, then you'll be manifesting how to write it. And then once you write it, you'll be manifesting how to sell it. Just
Mhm.
go to the end of it's sold out. It's amazing. Everybody loves it. And that acceptance of that end wills the means. It
Yeah.
creates everything else that needs to happen on your behalf for you. So you're lighting up different realities. Just like Gabby said, when she made that decision, the ideas flooded into her because they were already there,
Yeah.
right? They were already there. They were at the door, but the door was shut. It was locked. It was
Yeah.
locked with the key that says, that's not who I am. So it's like, well, we can't come in here, but we're here, right? Your way, all your ways, all the stuff, it's already here, but it can only show itself based off of what you're believing about yourself, right?
So true. Yes. And like I remember one thing that you said to me in a class. I'm trying not to get emotional because we already experienced that, but
It's okay.
I remember one thing you said to me in the class was just like, I want you to have ooh, sorry, I'm trying not to get
Okay.
emotional. I want you to have my voice in your head instead of all those other voices. And that's how, like, first of all, your voice definitely has been there. But I remember, like, that's how I wanted, even before you said that, listening to your videos, watching your videos, and inside of myself saying, wow, like, I want to help artists feel the way that Olivia is assisting in how I'm feeling right now. Because those voices can be strong. And sometimes those voices are actual voices. They're like just memories of rejection. Um, where, like you said, when you said all those ideas, like the door shut and locked. And when you said that, I thought about how many times where, I had all these ideas and then I let them out and then they weren't received the way that I wanted them to be received, or I felt like they were exploited. They were taken from me, right? Um, or we like your art, but not you. You know what I mean? Like just that kind of like thinking. Um, and when that happens, and I'm sure a lot of artists or just people in general, when that happens over and over again, you do shut that door and you lock it. You lock it from anyone else being able to get in and see and hear and experience your art, but also you kind of lock it away from yourself too, because it's like it can be painful, right? Because it's like, oh well, this is how it was received before. Um, but in that class, you were like, I want you to hear something different. I want you to hear my voice this time. And it's like hearing that voice. I know you always say like you are the lock and the key. And it's like I heard your voice. I really heard you that day. and it was like, you had never seen anything that I like created. We had had some super deep conversation about what I've experienced, but somehow I was able to sift through all those voices, which are also just a reflection of my own voice and what I've been saying to myself. Hear your voice, allow that to be mirrored in myself, and say, okay, when did I believe in myself like this? And then unlock again. So thank you for that. Thank you for that for sure.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It really is. And, you know, Gabby, you are so vibrant. Your energy is so vibrant. You have such a dreamer's heart, um, such a big heart. And you're very empathetic. And that is exactly what we need to help other people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you guys, is that a lot of times, you know, especially when we're going into the space of coaching or of helping people, we're like, who am I to do that? Who am I
Mhm.
to decide that I can help people? I'm struggling, right?
Yeah.
A lot of you guys right now, you're like, I'm struggling. I don't get it. It's hard for me right now. Who am I to teach anybody? You're exactly the person,
Mm.
right? You're exactly
Yeah.
the person. Like, if I right now wanted to learn, I don't know, how to shoot a good three-pointer, right?
Mhm.
You might think like, oh, well, get the best shooter of a three-pointer and, you know, have him teach you, right? No, but what I need is someone who sucked. I need someone who was really bad at it first and that learned how, because if you were born a natural shooter, you don't know how to become a good shooter. You just know how to be a good shooter, right?
Right.
Being a coach is teaching how people how to become, how to
Yeah.
be what you want to be, how to be what you say you want to be. And
Yeah.
in order to teach people to how to become something, you have to become it. And for you to become it, you have to have at some point not been it, you
Mhm.
know? And so and that's where a lot of people, that's why a lot of people resonate with the channel, is because I'm not here on my high horse and my throne like, peasants, have you tried this? Because this is all that you need to do. And if you're not doing that, you suck. Like, no. I'm like, hey, I was in the trenches too, and here's how you get out.
Yeah.
Right? I know it seems like it's that ladder over to the left, but it's actually an escalator if you keep going down this way. Right?
Right.
It's those little things that is actually allows you to be a good teacher. If you had an artist come to you, if they're like, hey, you know, I'm having trouble, you know, pricing my art, I'm having trouble selling my art, and you were like, that's so weird. I mean, for me, my first time I painted anything, I sold it for $10,000, and ever since then it's just been up and up and up. I don't really know what it's like to not be able to do that. How do you help them? You can't. You
Right.
can't. You know? And so it is everyone here, right? Your story, your struggles, the things that you're going through, even if you're not going to be a coach, y'all, if you're going to be a mom or a dad, if you're going to be a friend, if you're going to encourage somebody, right? Then you being able to say, hey, I've been there, I can help you, right? I've been there, I can help you, is much more helpful than I've always been through it. I don't know what it's like. That's like giving, you know, asking a trust fund baby, how should I get rich? They don't know.
Right.
They were born rich.
Right.
Right? No, I want to know. I want to talk to the person that struggled, right? I want to talk to the person who was born broke and built wealth for
Mm.
themselves.
Yeah.
And it depends on where you're at, right? Because for some of you, now what I would ask the trust fund baby is, how does that feel? So I can embody that energy. I can embody that feeling. But I'm not going to, their answer would be, ask your dad for $50,000 to invest, right? That's what
Yeah.
I did, you know? Oh, have you tried selling your family jewels? That for sure will help you out, right? There are no family jewels for us, right? So I'm telling this to everyone here, you know, the thing that you think is meant to beat you down and to break you is actually there for you to rebuild yourself. And then you got the blueprint of how to rebuild anything, anyone, you
Yeah.
know? I used to use all of my failures as reasons why I could not be a coach and I should not be a coach. And they became the very reason why I'm excellent at what I do. because I can understand at every level. I can understand the level of not understanding it at all. I can understand the level of getting it a little bit. I can understand the level where you're so advanced and you're like, everything works except for this one. I can understand it all. And so I can help everyone. And so, everyone here, your story, whatever it is that you're going through, is creating a teacher out of you. Is creating a teacher out of you. But you get to decide now that I'm done learning, right? Not forever, because we're always learning and expanding. But I'm done suffering to learn my lesson. I've learned
Yeah.
it. I got it. I'm ready to reach back and pull others up, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, you're doing amazing, Gabby. You're going to do incredible. I really just have a really good feeling about what you're doing. I can see you being one of the most prestigious art development coaches that there are. I honestly even see you beyond that. I don't know what it is, but I just see you being in charge of some big stuff and people coming to you and you just being something that I don't know that you even can imagine right now, but I can see it clearly, you know, big boss. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. And like I've told you many times, Olivia is psychic, guys, but do not take that. I do not take that lightly. But I do want to say that um, so like when it comes to so the title that I came up with for myself was artist development coach because my heart has just been on the artist. But I'm sorry, I'm spacing out. I'm just thinking about some things that you shared. Um, just taking this class, guys. Just I don't. I'm not trying to force anyone, but just take the class, okay? Um, just just take the class because, like, I know. And again, Olivia has not asked me to say that or anything. This is from my heart.
You
Um,
keep speaking, Gabby. Somebody's at the door. I'll be right back, you guys.
okay, but um, like Olivia said, that we're all artists, and we all are creating constantly. Like I look at God as an artist, and so the God within us is also just constantly creating. Um, so my desire to work with artists, honestly, is to like you saw the way that Olivia just spoke to and about me, is to speak that way and encourage artists to be able to see that within themselves too. And like I said, I know it's artist development, um, but everything that you develop is already there. It's the raw materials. So yeah. Okay.
I hate that I missed that. I'm so sorry. And then I didn't even mute the mic. I'm sorry if that was like intrusive, but
No, it's okay.
um no, but yeah, I don't know. Like what you were probably saying is probably answering this, but I was just thinking like I don't know what like the view that I have of you is at some type of like event, but you're running the event. Like you're running the event for artists and like I don't know what that would be because I don't know
Olivia,
anything about the art world, but I
why
can
are
see
you
that.
psychic?
I don't know.
No, because okay. No, you're psychic for real though. So yes, I want to do artist development, but
Mhm.
like for real, I talking about living in the end, existing in the end. So I want to create an art center for artists
Mm,
um, of all kinds, so visual and performing. So they're going to be like you talked about even earlier. You talked about the stage, right?
mm,
I want performing artists. I want visual artists. I want to be able to hold exhibits. I want to have space for studios that artists can rent out, right? So you can just be in your own zone and manifest, right? Um, Classes, just yeah, that's what I really so you're on about the events. I wanted to just be, like, constant. Um, so, yeah, you are psychic, and I did not tell I think maybe I said the arts organization before, but, like, I didn't tell you all that, so
no, you didn't tell me anything. Like this just came from like a vision. Like sometimes I get visions, sometimes I get like downloads, but I just saw you, and you, whatever it was, you were running it. Like you were in it. Like I don't know anything about art and like event, like I don't know, so I didn't know what to call it, but it was like you, like the view that I'm giving is like something like a charity ball, but not a charity ball, but like that type of prestige, you know, like where you're extremely dressed up, but you are coordinating, you own it. Like this is your thing. So I didn't know that you had that, but me seeing that means it already exists, right?
It
You didn't,
does.
it's not like it came from you like telling me that. I just happened to see it. I didn't even, like I could have just been like, no, she said art development coach, so I'm not even gonna bring that up. But I was just like, it's the feeling that I feel about you, and the vision that I see for you is far beyond. You know, so
Yeah.
it's not far beyond what you're seeing because you already seen it yourself. So
Yeah.
it's
I
there.
literally I literally saw that in the vision for myself. So, like, I don't want people to think that I one day I was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this." I was meditating. Sorry, I'm spacing out again because 'cause I'm seeing it in my head. But I was meditating and I got a vision, honestly. Like, I'm sure a lot of people here have experienced that, and you're like, "What is that?" Like, and, like, not even like, "What is that?" But, like, "Why am I in this? What is this?" Um, but it was so strong and it was, like, repeating. And I felt a little awkward because I'm what is this thing that I keep seeing? And I'm seeing myself in it. And I'm seeing myself with a like I saw myself on stage with a mic, but I wasn't like performing or acting.
Hmm.
And I was like, huh? And I saw people and I felt the feeling of community. But then I saw hallways with artworks of artists that I have been assisting, right? And so it felt like the seed was like the development part, right? Building this community of artists that just starts expanding. I can't believe I'm sharing this right now, but like I am. But that's what, and that wasn't meditating. I wasn't looking for that um, at all. I was actually, I felt like I was probably trying to get answers for something else. And I was just like, well, there you are. You want to take the mic or what?
Hmm.
And then how many months later? Maybe that happened in December of last year, maybe January. And then I'm in your class. And I'm like, should I go for another job? After seeing that, I'm like, maybe I should get another job. You're like, I don't know, should you? Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I love that, Gabby. You'll have to use this clip like when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
famous and you're doing like your grand opening of your foundation. Like, I think this is what I want to do. To bam, here I am doing it, done it clearly. Period. Like, yes, you'll have to include this in like your montage of your journey and
Yes. I was thinking the
everything that.
same thing.
Yeah,
I was
it's good
thinking
that
the
you
same.
spoke it out. Yeah, and you got so many encouragers here. Um, in the comment. I
Um,
don't think you can see the comments, can you?
yeah, I can't see it.
It's okay. But yeah,
But
very
thanks,
loving.
everybody.
Yeah, such loving energy. Thank you everyone. I just love everyone here. Um, but yeah, I'm just extremely proud of you, Gabby. Even coming on here for this live, right? It's scary. It's scary.
Yeah,
There's people that want to do YouTube and want to do this and won't do it. You
yeah,
don't even want to, this ain't even what you want to do. You know, well, you actually have YouTube actually, but you're here
yeah. Like
live
starting yesterday.
starting yesterday. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm
Because
going to be
like
subscribing.
but that's again, like you talking about it being scary. When you sent me that for real, when you sent me that email, when I tell you my eyes glazed over because like my mind was like rejecting what I was seeing. I was like, oh, like I was like, oh. And I was like, so I had to like take a little second to like calm down. And then I like went back and read the email and I just felt it. I was like, you gotta do it. The same feeling of like, you gotta take this class, yo. Like you stop it. Like it was that same feeling. And it lit a fire under my booty, okay? Because I was just like, but before it lit the fire, um, like I said before, and I think a lot of people have this within them, I was like throwing the water on the fire. Like, girl, you getting too excited. What? You know, and then even though I questioned myself, like, did she really ask me that? Let me read it again because maybe I'm imagining stuff. Just throwing water, right? And and then I was just like, well, I literally doubted all these doubts came up in my mind. And I was like, what are you learning right now? What have you been learning for the last like month, like since maybe like last 6 months? And why are you not applying that to this very moment? And why do you not think that Olivia even reaching out to you is not a part of your manifestation? Somehow I tried to separate that from. I'm like, oh well, this is different though. Just like a lot of people do with the manifestations. They're like, oh well, this thing happened, but like it's not for me, it was a coincidence. And I was like, well, maybe Olivia felt bad for me, or maybe I'm like just making up throwing water, throwing water. So it is scary. Like I'm actually glad I can't see the comments right now.
It's all love, honestly. That's why I love doing it on StreamYard, because we don't see all the trolls and whatever. It's literally just all love. It's all love. Um, but yeah, I love that though. And it is like it can be scary, but what's even scarier, y'all, is going to the end of your life and not taking action
Mm,
on what you want and being in the same place for another year, 5 years, 10 years. That's
yeah,
scarier, right? And let me ask you this, right? Because you thought it was so scary coming on here. How scary is it actually doing it?
it's not. I mean, it's not scary. Of course, like when I think too hard about it, I'm like, ah, what's happening? I'm like, I see my face. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me, that's me, that's me. But when I'm talking to you, I'm just like, I'm talking to Olivia, and we're connecting, we're sharing. It's good vibes, you know. It feels great. It feels really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm extremely proud of you, Gabby, and just intending, praying, knowing that you prosper immensely with all that you're doing. I'm so excited for you. When you told me about what you wanted to do, I literally got chills from it because, like, you guys, like, having the job, it be your job to help people change your lives, there's nothing better than that. And of course
Yeah.
I would say that because I'm doing it, but I mean, it's more than that, because even like what just came to my mind is like, well, what about being a NASCAR driver? I don't know what I thought about that, but yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you're it's amazing. You're driving, but once you get out the car and you go home, that's that. But when you're helping people change their lives, that is something that goes on and on and on.
Yes.
And you, Gabby, assisting others, because in teaching others to value themselves, you're going to learn how to value yourself even more and
Yeah.
more and more and more. And in turn, you're going to teach them how to value themselves even more and more and more. And you're changing their life. You're changing someone from going saying, you know what, my art's never going to sell. I'm just going to go work at McDonald's. I'm just going to go work at TJ Maxx and just forget about it. It'll be my hobby, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're turning that into not just a career, but their dream come true. And then they are able to use that and prosper themselves and inspire others. That's just if you were to help one person,
Yeah.
right? That one person can go and inspire others, and they go and inspire others. But you're going to be helping, I'm hearing, millions of people. So you touching their lives. And I want you to know something, Gabby. People prophesized this to me before any of this happened, that I would be touching millions of people's lives
Yeah.
when I was serving, when I was a server. And people would prophesize to me, you are going to do some great things, even when I couldn't see it. So you are meant to touch millions of lives, Gabby. And it's more than that, because each life goes on to touch an infinity of lives, just like that. So I'm just sending you all the blessings, all the smooth and easy path for you to be a great artist coach, for all your artists. Everything that you do and touch prospers and does incredibly well. It already has. We've already seen that it does.
Yeah.
So I'm just extremely proud of you. Now, before we end, because we're coming up on an hour here, I would love to hear just one piece of advice that you want to give to not just artists, but to those that are thinking about following their dreams or thinking about maybe even giving up on their dreams. And when you get done with that, then I want you to share about what you have, what your offer is.
Sure. First of all, thank you for all that, Olivia. Thank you so much. Um, I received that. Whew. Um, I love when you rampage. Even though I don't know if like you consider rampaging, but you definitely be rampaging, girl. Because it's just like you like just being overwhelmed with love. But one piece of advice for an artist, I would say, and this is from no, I'm not a painter, but or a sketcher or any of that. But like if I know a lot of times in my life, I always thought I'm not ready yet. I need to do this thing over here. Um, I need to acquire this skill. I need to meet this person. I need to secure this position. Okay, now I need to secure that position. Um, and all those things I realized were distracting me from actually creating. And I know a lot of artists, right? I know some, and I meet them all the time where they have like this thing in their head that they need to get out, that they want to create, but they spend so much time thinking about it that they won't create it. Or even like, well, I don't want to work on it because if I don't have it, if I don't have the exact tools that I need or the colors, or if I don't have the full vision yet, then I can't even start it because I may mess it up. You can't mess it up. So my advice to the artist is that no matter where you are in your self concept, create, just start. And Olivia, I think she did a video on this before too, but and I know I spoke about before with the class where I was like, oh, I had to pull myself back and work on my self concept. Okay, I was doing that and I'm still doing that, but I also was creating at the same time because it's the trusting that even though I have to work on like my conscious acceptance of what I and who I truly am, I'm still that thing in this moment. Even if I can't see it all the way, I'm still that thing. So I'm going to create from the knowledge of that. So don't stop creating. Don't wait on, Olivia made another video about validation. Don't wait on the validation of galleries. Don't wait on the validation of an agent. Don't wait on the validation of the people in your closest circle thinking that your art is good. Honestly, like, this is going to sound crazy, but don't even wait on your own validation and be like, okay, this is good. Just create. And you'll be surprised at how many people are like, wow, that's amazing. Or even with pricing your work, you don't have to ask a gallery, well, would you price it as this? Or even someone who said, oh, I like that work, but what would you price it as? Choose a price. Choose a price, even if it sounds crazy to you. So that'll be my word of advice to artists out there.
I love that. So beautiful and so real. I love that. And please tell them about your offerings that you have.
Yeah, so I created a course. Well, it's an artist development course, but it's the first class in the course is about something that I have experienced throughout my career, and I'm creating from that, but also outside of it. And it's about imposter syndrome, but within your art practice. Because in the line of work that I do, I talk to so many artists a day, and their art can just be amazing, and they don't even see it. Or if they see it, they don't see the full like breadth of what it is and what it can be. And I see how that affects their practice. For example, like we spoke a lot about today, like pricing. I have seen artists, if they're hit with an obstacle in the process of selling a piece, become frantic and all of a sudden they're willing to negotiate the price lower and lower and lower and lower, or okay, give them a discount, give them. I've seen artists like the amount of like the percentage of discount was like ridiculous. I can't remember exact number, but let's say like 50% off the work, right? A work that should not be discounted at all, but they're so frantic and afraid of losing the sale, because if I lose the sale, then it's a reflection of who I am as an artist, but also like as a business. It reflects all these things, and I need this person to take this art, because if they take this art, then they're accepting me for like as an artist. So I believe that imposter syndrome of not really owning who you are, which is a creator, an artist that is worthy of the art that you create, can affect how you go on to create, but also how you practice business when it comes to your work. So this class is really diving deep into the psychology of that. Like, we're going to go all the way back to the origin story. I know this sounds like a villain, but when you think about this imposter that's ruining your art business, are they a villain or what? So we're going to dive into the psychology of that, um, and then work our way through to the truth. I know Olivia speaks about the truth a lot on here, but like who you truly are. Um, and I want that to be reflected in your art practice. And not just, oh, I'm a good person, but when it comes to an artist, somehow that light that I am is turned off. No. So anyway, that class will be in this upcoming May, this spring. I think Olivia, you're gonna put more information where they can like sign up for it and stuff like that. And you
Yes,
guys
the
can feel
info's in the description.
great. And you guys can feel free to reach out to me if you want more information on it. Um, and it's for artists of all kinds. Like, you can be a performing artist, you can be a visual artist, um, you could even be somebody who you've always wanted to be an artist. Like, I meet a lot of people like that, like, oh, I always wanted to try art. I'm like, if you had that calling, that means you already are an artist. You're just stopping yourself from doing it. So yeah.
That is wonderful. Wow, perfect. Thank you so much, Gabby. This
Thank
was
you.
incredible. You did an amazing job. You really did. Everybody loves you. Um, and for those of you who are interested in Gabby's class, you guys can, there's a link in the description already, and her YouTube is also in the description. Or if you need to, Gabby, do you want to tell them what your email is if they wanted to like contact you?
Yes, it's takayaarts@gmail.com. So I'm not sure if you can see my name, but it's TOCAYA arts@gmail.com. So it's all one word. Takayaarts@gmail.com. And I
Perfect.
think that's on that link that I it's on the link that Olivia put in the description as well.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Awesome. All right, then. Well, perfect. Gabby, you did incredible. Thank you so much for showing up so real and genuine and authentic. And I know for 100,000% fact that you inspired so many people here today. So you are already literally living in your purpose. You're incredible, amazing, and really only experiencing the beginnings of that. So I'm just excited for you to continue unfolding and continue becoming and being this incredible version of yourself that has been knocking at the door that you have answered now. So it's wonderful to witness from this side. And everyone in the chat, thank you for all of your love so much. Thank you all for just being so loving and encouraging and uplifting. I appreciate you all so much. Sending you all infinite, infinite love. And we will see you guys in another video.
Thanks,
Bye.
Olivia. Bye,
You're welcome.
everybody.